District 12 tributes.
Oh, you know those twibwoots.
Oh, that's so scary. District...
I hear it's called District 12.
Well, what is the word after that?
Tributes.
Those people. And now we have producer Brandi back.
Hello, hello.
And I think you all know what that means at this point. That means we're in for another episode of
Novel Events.
Hooray! What we're labeling as a podcast, even though we're really still just on YouTube at this point.
It's just a chance for you to listen to us chit chat, and as of right now, discuss the Hunger Games because I need to read more series. But we'll work on that.
We'll get her reading more, but really, she's done an excellent job reading this year. Brandi came into 2025 saying, I'm not a reader. Maybe I'll read 3 books this year. And you've definitely read more than 3 books.
I was going to say, I think my Goodreads goal was 3. And at this point, I think I'm at 27 completed. And I'm reading with an asterisk next to it 3 books right now.
See, Brandi's a reader, so eventually we'll get a little bit more overlap and we can expand this into more books. We can go chapter by chapter of a book, maybe the Hunger Games, because that is something that we're both very passionate about. And all these years later, still very relevant.
Heck yeah, it's never not relevant.
It's never not relevant. Today, this is blah, blah, blah. Today is an idea that I had for the podcast. Normally it's been Brandi spearheading these really great, wonderful videos for novel events. And I heard someone on TikTok, and I don't remember who I heard it from, but I was scrolling one night and I heard someone say, has anyone ever thought about the parallels between the different characters that we see in the different books of the Hunger Games world? And I texted that to Brandi and said, do you want to compare and contrast the different archetypes that we have of District 12 tributes?
Oh, you know those twibwoots.
Oh, that's so scary. District...
I hear it's called District 12.
Well, what is the word after that?
Tributes.
Those people. Let's try this one more time. District 12 tributes.
Good job.
I'll be accepting my award for no. I won't be accepting my award. I don't know how to speak.
So we rewind all of this real quick.
No, this is all staying in.
Okay.
It's going to be hilarious.
I was helping you out.
No, we do it for the ha-has. Anyways, the District 12 tributes, the mentors, the citizens,
and the stylist.
or the stylist team. So Effie and
Proserpina.
Yeah. So without further ado,
you just said stylist as an Effie. Would you consider her a stylist for Haymitch?
Oh,
because she's not technically a stylist.
She's
you're
an
thinking
escort.
Cinna in.
I was including her in the team because Cinna is the stylist, and then she has the prep team, and we see across a couple of different ones what that means or if they even exist.
Okay,
and she's their escort.
Escort's probably the right word. I think of her as a handler.
She is a handler. Effie, our queen Effie, has a schedule, and we're gonna follow it.
She is. All right, where do we want to start?
I was gonna open up to you. I kind of think we end with maybe the tributes, or should we start with the heavy hitter, the tributes?
I'm good for whatever. I'm here to follow along and just give my thoughts.
All right, we're gonna start with the tributes then, because I think those are the strongest, and then we'll work our way down from there. And let's be real, District 12 is the main character. Those tributes are always main character energy. Hence, they are the main characters.
So do we want to start just as character to character, or are we just hey, across the board, I noticed this?
I'll start with this, and then we can move forward. Across the board, whenever we have a main character that is a District 12 tribute, so when we have Lucy Gray Baird, when we have Haymitch, when we have Katniss, and I'm not counting Peeta as this. He is a main character, but for this point alone, our 3 most notorious tributes were not like legally drawn, theoretically.
Okay.
Because Lucy Gray was rigged because of the mayor's daughter asking the mayor to her competition. Haymitch, spoiler alert if you have not read Sunrise on the Reaping or watched part 1 of my 2-part video that I'm still working on, Haymitch was just pulled out of the crowd because he didn't have blood on him and he was trying to protect his girl, Lenore. And it is heavily theorized that Katniss, well, no, not even heavily theorized. Katniss was never drawn. She volunteered.
Right. No, now it's making me think, how often do you think things were rigged across the board for who got picked? For all we know, because we don't know backstory, but for all we know, Peeta was also rigged for some reason, and his family doing something, not doing something. Like, we technically don't know, but that's a whole different thought.
It's a very good point. And
I'm here for the conspiracy theories.
I buy into the I really can't talk today.
It's okay, I forgive you. I hope the internet does too.
If they don't, there are worse things that you
Worst
can
case, they'll reap you.
That's why I get reaped.
Because it's rigged.
Because it's rigged. I'm not even going to have good sound bites for my interview.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Okay, sorry.
I buy into that there are multiple times across all of the districts in which the reaping is rigged. We see with Beatty's son.
Yeah.
Amber is definitely a rigged drawing. We have the conspiracy that, or we hear about, that when previous tributes have children of reaping age, they get reaped. And
because it makes for a better storyline.
It makes for more drama. In the end, they've made this a reality TV show. So.
That is true, though. I hadn't really thought about that aspect of it. I will say the first thing I thought of when we got talking about this idea was I immediately was like, oh, their parents, because I feel like their parents are big pieces. And now I'll be honest, I should have done a little bit of research because for the life of me, I can't remember Lucy Gray, her parents. They're gone, they're not, she's just a part of the covey.
They're never named. And then we don't really hear about them in her book. We find out from Haymitch's book, from Lenore, that at the end of the war, they basically banded together all the covey children, got rid of the parents, unalived them, and shoved them into District 12.
Okay.
So.
That's right. Because I kept thinking of Lenore Dove being, adopted, per se. So that's why I was like, oh, I can't remember whose storyline this goes to. But so excluding her then from this conversation, just because I don't have a good answer for her or like comparison. But it was interesting to see where, Haymitch comes from what seems like
rebel. Oh my God.
Oh, I was going to say just seemed like they come from loving parents. I guess we don't know his father, but his mom seemed like she cared about him and Sid. Then you have Katniss's parents where clearly her dad cared about her. And then her mom, while in the story is not in a great place, I think did still care about her. Like they didn't give me any kind of bad juju vibes there. And then you have Peeta, who first glance seems like the one that's going to have their shit together. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
It's okay. I realized that we can't actually swear on the internet. It's okay.
Okay, good. Also, I'll try to keep it PG. As we talk about kids that get murdered. First glance, Peeta seems like he should be the one with the happiest life, has his stuff together.
Loving parents.
Has both parents, has multiple siblings, all these kind of things. But at the same time, he has an abusive mother. And
who doesn't think that he's going to win. He thinks I cannot speak today. First off, when I tried to interrupt rudely Brandi earlier, it was to say that Haymitch comes from a line of rebels. He talks about this. And to your point of, could his family, could the parents play into who gets reaped? At least for Haymitch, we know that it's not necessarily that, because he is just pulling from the crowd. But yeah, like, we hear that, oh, the Abernathys are known
bootleggers.
Rapscallions. How can I say that word, but I can't say tribute? I don't know. But then to further your point that you were making with Peeta and his parents, his dad, I think, is a loving parent. I don't think his mom is.
Right. We know less about his dad. We know at least that he has a good bone somewhere in his body, considering he's said to have brought cookies to the tributes or like their families as like a kind of parting gift, since they don't really normally get to have those things.
We also know that it's very well believed that he and his mom and dad don't love each other. It was like a marriage of maybe convenience, because his dad was in love with Katniss's mom.
You know, that would be a whole interesting thing to dive into sometime. Just because my immediate thought goes to, well, we don't know. Well, actually, never mind. I answered my own thought, because they would have had to get together pretty quickly for them to have 3 kids and one of them be the same age as Katniss. The youngest specifically be the youngest as Katniss.
Yeah.
So never mind. My original thought. Don't worry about it, guys.
Or Burdock and Astrid. That's her mom's
I was going to call her Alice. I was like, Alice it is.
Burdock and Astrid might have just waited a while because they were taking care of a distraught Haymitch.
True. But I still don't think they probably waited that long, because reality is that kind of civilization. You're not waiting a long time. Yeah. Like, you're not probably getting to choose too much of when it happens. And also, you need more hands, even if it is more mouths to feed.
Yeah.
So, but that opens up a whole societal conversation about District 12 that maybe we'll get into another time.
I want to dig deeper into your point about kind of comparing specifically Haymitch and Katniss. We see in both of these characters, our main character is a little bit older, obviously not old enough to not be in the reaping, but older than the youngest, having a younger sibling who they would do anything to protect, having only their mother and having lost their father. I believe they both lost their fathers in mining accidents.
Correct.
But we also see that Katniss's mother really broke down. That was the love of her life. She could not function after his death. And Haymitch's mom buckled down and made sure that her kids were taken care of.
Potentially different ways in which they broke down. One, we don't know the relationship of Haymitch's parents. Like, we don't know their backstory. Like, we know Burdock is in love with Astrid forever. But at the same time, it could just come down to Astrid crumbled while Haymitch's mom said, I can't sit here and I have to work myself to the end so that I can stay busy and not be upset.
Regardless of that, also, yes, we're outside today. Yay!
In case you didn't notice yet.
In case you didn't notice yet, new background. It's actually just very fancy, like Google Images background. But regardless of knowing if they both broke down in different ways, we do know that shaped Katniss and Haymitch to be different. They both, though they have similarities, they both go into the games thinking that, almost knowing that they're going to die. But we see Haymitch goes into the games knowing he's going to die. And after his little training at the Tribute Center, or what constitutes at the Tribute Center for that Hunger Games, he's like, I'm going to go down, and I know I can't get out, but I'm going to try and break the machine. Whereas Katniss goes in, and at this point, after training, she thinks she might win. There's a part of her.
She's letting herself leave room for hope.
She's letting herself leave room for hope, and she's not trying to be a rebel. She's like, I'm gonna go walk in this woods. Huzzah.
I'm doing it
It's a
for
wood.
Prim.
I'm doing it for Prim. I'm going to do my best to live for my little sister, get back, take care of her.
Which now I'm thinking, doesn't Haymitch also somewhat do it for Sid? Like in terms of, I don't want him to see me suffer.
He doesn't want him to see him suffer.
He's still very much looking out for his sibling, just the way Katniss is also looking out for her sibling.
He wants to show Sid, though, like, you can
paint your poster.
You can paint your poster, yeah. I was gonna say you could be a rebel, but yeah, no, you can paint your poster.
You know, though, I forget exactly what you said that made me think about it, but it was comparing them going into the games. I think them both losing their father and watching their mothers break down led them both, though, to be strong individuals. Because we see Katniss very driven, and I think part of that's drawn out from the fact that she's a girl. And so her being someone that goes out and hunts and provides for her family is already a dynamic shift than we see normally portrayed. But then you have Haymitch, who still goes out and works and knows that he needs to do things. It's just on a lesser scale.
Well, they both go outside of the law.
Yeah.
To help their families.
Yeah. But they both have a drive to make sure that they are providing where they can.
Yeah.
And aren't asking for a lot. Because even if, Haymitch gets his birthday cake or whatever it is on his birthday in the morning, he's still kind of like, maybe I don't really need it. We can worry about this later.
Now, comparing those two are two District 12 tributes who were not, we're going to say maybe officially reaped, to our third District 12 tribute who was not officially reaped, Lucy Gray. One could argue that going into the reaping, she probably had an inkling that her name was going to get drawn.
I believe it.
She went there to put on a show. If she didn't have an inkling, why did she have the snake?
I don't know. I could also see Lucy Gray being someone that also just has a snake. I'm like, you know what? Honestly, you just tell me that she's
a snake girl.
Yeah, I was literally about to be like horse girl, but make it snakes.
Yeah, she's a snake girl.
I also kind of believe that, and I don't know if I would have ever really thought about that prior to this moment. But you just telling me she has a snake in her pocket, I go, yeah, that makes sense. If she lived today, her favorite toy would be Woody because he's got a snake in a boot. I'd be like, okay, I get it. No, I mean, I guess realistically, the way Suzanne Collins wrote it, yes, she probably had an inkling or at least enough suspicion to believe it could happen, that she was prepared. But for her to have a suspicion makes me wonder how many times it's happened prior to give her a reason to think that it could be rigged.
That's a very good point. Prior to the 10th Hunger Games, it wasn't a spectacle. They didn't have them recorded. It was basically a firing squad without it being a firing squad.
I didn't really think about it being that early on, though. But I guess without it being a spectacle, you're right. They're not pulling out of a bowl. They're not making it this whole ordeal. That part of me wonders if they just said, hey, Mayor, pick somebody. And if it was a little bit more like that. Even if they said, hey, pick two kids at random, but if in reality it was the mayor's like, hey, here's who the two people that were drawn are.
I could see that, in the first 10 years, or I guess first 9 years, maybe the slips of paper were all blank and it was kind of insinuated to the mayors of all the districts, hey, we need to weed out some of these rebel families. If someone looks like they're doing something that we don't like, or their family has a history of being in the rebellion, or even in maybe the very beginning, we see at the end of the Hunger Games, maybe the first set of tributes were just kids from the families that were high-ranking officers in the rebellion.
I mean, that's valid too. That opens up a whole world of possibilities.
It does. Should we briefly move on, though, to talking about Peeta and how he is portrayed as the opposite to everything we know? Even though when we first meet Peeta, especially you and I being the old ladies that we are, when we first meet Peeta, our only point of reference is Katniss. And we're like, okay, they're foils in a way. And then as the universe has expanded over the years, we kind of see that maybe this isn't just he's Katniss's foil. Maybe Peeta is the abnormality of not being reaped, or we already know it's not normal for, what am I thinking? A town kid?
Sorry, that was a bug. A non-seam.
A non-seam kid. Is it town?
Yeah.
Town kid?
They're not village.
Yeah.
It's just reality. We don't talk about them very much. Yeah. But they come from the town. I wonder if that's shifted at all, though, over the years. Because, I mean, obviously a lot of the reason the seam comes up so much is because of the, what word am I looking for now? Where they're buying into it.
Yeah,
where they're getting their grain. Whatever word we're looking for there. I feel like,
Oh, it's like right on the tip of my tongue.
I can picture it how I read it in the book.
Yeah, I can. Tesserae?
Yes. I was going to say I thought it started with a T and then I wasn't positive.
I got there. In the end, I got there.
So, I mean, obviously that does skew it. But I wonder if there was still a sprinkling of people that weren't in the team, still like on a semi-regular basis. Like if you were to break it down, bar chart, 75% of the time it is seam, but 25% of the time, like steadily, it's also townspeople that.
And this might be skewed in other districts, again, where we have multiple victors and victors having children.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Peeta's just kind of there.
Peeta's
and we know I say that as someone Peeta's my favorite and I love him and I stan him.
Peeta has many positive qualities, and as a literary character, as an amazing literary character. But in this context, specifically where we are comparing the 4 tributes that we well known in District 12, he is the outlier. He is just there. He is the one possibility of it being truly random, and not even just truly random. He is the one instance that we see. Well, I guess no, we also see real drawings for the other district tributes that aren't the main characters in the other.
But I feel like that's what takes away from this, because they're not main characters. Like, you have to fill out the rest of the cast somewhere, so I feel like they're not allowed to be a fair comparison right here.
Yeah. Peeta is the only main character, District 12, I can't do it, District 12 tributes, who is really drawn.
Yes. Now, personal plug, leave a comment if you think that Mackenzie should be Peeta for Halloween. And now we will keep going. No other context, but just if she alone should be Peeta. You get no other context though.
I think I could pull it off.
I think she could too.
I could bring like rolls of bread with me, and it could offset Brandi's wild Halloween party where at least one person every year
blacks out. Leave a comment if you want invited as well. We're going to get this engagement up, guys.
Please. And if you want bread, I can even make it from scratch too.
We'll circle back to this.
We'll post, go check out the Instagram. If this ends up happening, I will post updates throughout the night of me baking some rolls from scratch beforehand and then handing them out at the Halloween party. Yes. So now back to the video. Back to the content that you are actually here for.
I vote we talk about the stylist.
Okay.
Because I think that could be fun. We don't normally really talk about Senna. We don't talk about Octavia. And I'm going to be honest, I don't remember Peeta's team because...
I don't think Peeta's team is named besides the stylist.
That's why I was like, but somebody gets named. I'm like, I know there is a name that they give in like the first book. And I'm like, ooh, what is your name again?
Does it also start with a C?
It's a great question.
It could. Good question. Leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe.
I know a lot about the Hunger Games, but you start to offshoot enough. I'm like, ooh, now we're past knowing specific names.
We would do really well in a trivia night until it gets to like the hard level where it's like, name this person's third cousin's daughter who is mentioned once.
So stylist-wise, I mean, I would argue what similarities do we think there are? Because clearly Cinna is the chosen one. He is amazing. We love him. He is a rebel.
Main character energy.
Said, I'm going to help you, and at the very least, I'm going to build hope in your soul. And then we have Snake Earring Guy, or Turtle Earring Guy.
Mango.
Yeah, Mango.
I love his name. It's weird, and you could still easily convince me that it's not pronounced Mango, but in my heart, that man's name is Mango.
Like I said, I'm just like, snake earrings or turtle earrings, reptile earrings.
He likes to lick toads.
He just kind of sucks. He's a POS. Yeah. Like, I'm not really sure what other words I have for him, and I would love to hear if you found things that you were like, I think these are similarities.
So
they're both men.
They're both men.
There you go. I have one.
The Venn diagram.
That is assuming gender.
Which we should never assume. I think the stylist as a whole are, whereas the District 12 tributes, we can see a lot more parallels. The stylist is where we really start to see the difference in the evolution of the games. Lucy Gray did not have a team. They did not care. That poor woman, that poor girl, because she was a teenager, got tossed into a zoo.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm like, I wonder if people pick up when I like have like a little brain blast. I'm like, oh, I just had a thought.
Brandolyn has a thought. What's your thought?
Which I'd note, in case anyone did not know, producer's Brandy's real name is Brandolyn.
Oh, sorry. We can redo that if you don't want them to know.
No, I don't care. It's just funny. I was like, they're probably like, who?
Who's Brandolyn?
Do you think you could consider Snow Lucy Gray stylist?
No. Snow is firmly mentor.
But I think you could argue that kind of like at the beginning when we were saying Effie is a part of that team, the evolution of it in the games was that broke out into its own role, that you had a handler from the get-go, and then you brought them to people specifically to get you ready, where Snow was, yes, mainly the handler and escort, but he did also help prep her for the games and, like, I think did kind of style her in a way of, like, lean into this.
Brandy can read my mind because she started to say things. I think she looked into my soul and was like, Mackenzie is going to try and make this counterpoint and I'm going to beat her to it. But I still have the counterpoint of everything you've said more in lines with Snow being the mentor and escort part of this.
Yes.
He did not choose her dress. Her clothing, I don't think, changed once. The only thing before your brain blast goes off is when Snow is in the hospital, when they are going to have the first interview. I think, and I'm not sure because it's never, I think, explicitly stated in the book because the person who we're viewing the story from is not there. But I think they allowed the contestants, like, hygiene products like a hairbrush, and I think he says that it looked like she'd gotten some makeup. So I would argue, to your point, that first Hunger Games stylist did not exist because the stylist, in the sense that we are used to them, even in the 50th Hunger Games, their focus is on making everybody pretty and desirable and presenting that side of things, whereas in the 10th Hunger Games, we're still, the Capitol is still hammering home the point that these tributes are not the same as us, they are not human, they are less than, they are animals in a cage. And they're also still trying to hit that home in the districts as well. And in the 40 years that passes between the 10th, and Lucy Gray Baird and Haymitch, we see that maybe stylists are becoming a thing because Haymitch talks about when he's going to the reaping that they're in pens, like animal pens. And we see that this has already been at some level ingrained across the districts and this capital and society. And so I think I see where you're trying to go with it. And I agree to some extent, but I think stylists specifically don't exist until a couple years after Lucy.
I will agree that, like, as a whole, they did not exist. But I think if Snow had true resources that he could use disposably. Like, instead of just being able to use Tigress to, like, sew his own clothes, but truly have access to some fabric, he would have potentially had Tigress make something. And tying into that, like, because this is a bigger point, I think he also knows it would draw attention. Like, he's trying to get her seen and people to like her. So I think he would have, if it were acceptable enough and that if it wouldn't have, like, raised too much of a red flag, tried to sell her as, like, look at how pretty she is.
I agree.
And so I think if he had the ability, he would have leaned more into that role. But I don't think he could, based on resources and the backlash he would have gotten, and he was already pushing it to just try to keep her alive by giving her rat poison and different things.
I agree with everything that was said, but I'm going to stay firm in my belief of
it's okay to be wrong.
He couldn't. Oh!
It's okay. It's okay. I forgive you.
Shots fired.
It's okay.
I'm going to hold firm in my belief that
I'll allow it.
That it's because he didn't have the resources. He wasn't able to do that.
Okay. No, I think that's fair. But if you have thoughts, please leave them below. Because
comment down below.
We'd love to hear how I am right and Mackenzie's wrong.
Maybe after this releases, I'll like release a poll.
Yes, I
on
love
Instagram, and we'll see who people agree with.
I will be voting on it.
Maybe I will too.
You can't vote on your own poll.
That's fair. I'll have Matt vote on it.
No, he should vote his own thoughts.
You're right, because he also loves the Hunger Games, so he has his own thoughts.
Okay, well then I vote. Then we move on to our handlers.
Okay. No, can we I still have a point to make on this stuff. No. Throw my tantrum.
Yes, ma'am, I'm listening.
It's just one more point, and then we can move on to the handlers. Okay. Is that we see that there's this evolution of, and this will tie in. This will tie in with your handles, and this will be a good transitionary point. So, all right, back from temporarily getting rained on. If it starts to downpour, we will relocate. Brandi is done if it starts to downpour. She will just be playing Overcooked then. That's our afternoon plans after this. We're gonna record this video and then play some Overcooked.
That's how I get bribed into coming over. They're like, "You want to play Overcooked?" I said, "Okay, sure."
We tried to feed her, and she says no.
But you offer me Overcooked.
She says, if I can make the meal digitally,
then I'm here for it.
Anyway, so
your point.
Back from checking in on things in case it rains. Mm-hmm. Again, if it rains, we'll just relocate. Yeah. So the first Hunger Games we see, Lucy Gray. We have students acting as mentors. Mm-hmm. Forward 40 years, we do have now stylists as we know them, but the prep team are students. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is because at the end of Lucy Gray's games, we find out, nope, the students got too close, and it was very close to going the other way and possibly ending the Hunger Games. Brandi has an idea. Brandi is like, I'm going to destroy you, Mackenzie.
I don't have opinions on many things, but when I do,
when she does, I can tell. I don't know what she's thinking, but I know it's going to destroy me. So then we get the prep team. They're like, okay, the students can be the prep team, especially if they want to maybe go into a career as stylists. Mm-hmm. And then by the time we get to the 74th, the prep team are fully adults. So I guess my point is that we see this evolution of the prep team, how it's changing. We see in the 10th Hunger Games how people still see the tributes as people, which they are. We also see that by the 50th Hunger Games, Effie, Proserpina, the other students, they're like, you're a grade, and I would like to get an A so that I can do my job in the future. My very hard job of being a capital citizen. And then we go to the 74th, and it's just a job now. And they don't even talk to Katniss, really. I mean, eventually they do, and they build that
But
bond.
originally, it's just, here's what I need to get done.
Here's what I need to get done. What are your plans? It's like our small talk during that. What are your plans for the weekend? What parties are you going to?
But not to the tribute to
But
each
not
other.
to the tribute to each other. And it's only after she makes that alive. And I think that part of that is their own dissociation of this kid isn't gonna last.
Yeah. How do I keep myself distance? Yeah.
Yeah. How do I not get attached year from year?
Here, we wait for the wind for a second, just in case. I was like, I don't know if it's gonna hit the mic.
Yeah. It's fair.
I have my thought.
I'm ready.
Perfect. Okay.
I'm ready for your thought.
Okay. Now it's a small thought.
I don't think it is. I saw the gleam in her eyes. It's a thought that's gonna rock me to my core.
No, I'm gonna see if you will concede a step. Not your whole point, but just concede a step. If I say instead of Snow was a stylist, Snow was a part of the prep team, because the word prep team, he did prep her for her things.
I will concede that point to you. He was not the stylist, but we can count him part of the prep team.
Take that one step. Okay, that's all I needed. I heard the word prep, and I said, "Oh, you cannot say he did not prep her."
Building bridges across differences.
See, one way or another, I'm gonna make my point that Snow
chip away at me.
Okay, so then taking it back to
the handlers. Is that
Snow being a handler, and then Effie, and I really should have gone back to Haymitch's book. Her name starts with a D. Drusilla.
We might have to redo that one because that had some. There's a loud card.
Okay, so going back then now to our handlers, we have Effie, we have Drusilla, and we have Snow. And I think, arguably, that I am wrong as soon as I start my statement. Well, in my mind, I think it's...
Well, what were you going to say? And then what was the thought you came to realize?
Well, I think it's, for the most part, I think of them all kind of starting as villains. But the reason for that is Effie comes into this as the person who is reaping them. And so she is a villain because she is the outward-facing person causing the harm right from the get-go before we ever meet Snow. Drusilla sucks. I have no other words, and if you disagree with me, I don't think we can even argue about that. Just, I'm not sure what redeeming qualities she has. And then you have Snow, who I was going to say starts as a villain, but you could say the reason I think he starts as a villain is because I know deep down he becomes the villain, but at the time in which he is acting as a handler, he is not a villain yet.
I was going to agree with your own thought of they're another good set to compare and contrast because we have our first ever set of mentors, the students, mentors, handlers, whatever you want to call them. Because you're right, the first ones, they did a lot. They wore many hats.
I wouldn't say mentors, sorry. Because mentors would be Haymitch and Matt.
Well, they were also their mentors.
Oh, okay, like the early on. Okay, that's why I was like...
The early, sorry.
Yeah, I got you now.
Clarity. In the 10th Hunger Games, the mentors who also act as prep
team.
And I was going to include it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, darling. I was going to include it. But those are all also children. And I would argue that Snow started his book not a villain.
Mm-hmm.
He is a troubled kid that's like anything, and we've discussed this in previous videos. He could have gone either way in a universe where Dean Highbottom just makes the active choice to try and change what's going on instead of being drugged out for his existence.
Mm-hmm.
Snow could have been a completely different person. And hello, Leaf. And I think that he evolves into the villain over his story. And then in our middle era, Drusilla is just a villain from start to finish. She is the outward facing person from the capital. She
has no redeeming qualities.
She has no redeeming qualities. She yells not only at the tributes, the children that are going to die, but at her own team, at other capital people, at who we later find out is her husband, Mango.
She clearly needs to get laid.
Well, we could argue that Mango might be trying to do the job, but not succeeding.
Oh, I think he is doing that elsewhere.
I don't think he's doing it at all. I think he's too busy licking toads.
Yeah, but you don't just lick toads. You lick toads at a party. And I think it's like a swingers vibe. That's a whole different video as well.
Video engagement, comment down below if you want to see that novel events episode.
Yeah, I think he's licking toads and having fun else places. And then
I don't
Drusilla's
think he
left
can
at
have
home.
fun after he licks the toads. I think he's too far
I think
gone.
if you don't lick too much.
But do we think he has that self-control? This is not what this is about. This is a different video. We need to regroup. Circle back.
Man, I'm here for the conspiracy theories. That's what I'm learning. Yeah, okay, so Drusilla sucks. Okay, next.
Okay, next. And then we get Effie, who starts as the villain because she is the outward-facing capital. We don't know her backstory, or even if you do know her backstory with Haymitch, like, she still believes in what the capital is saying and is picking children to die year after year. But over the trilogy that she is a part of, I would argue that she begins to do small acts of rebellion. I don't even know if Effie knows she's rebelling. That should be a different. We should do a deep dive into Effie Trinket because I think we would both really enjoy that. And maybe you guys would as well. Effie, I think, is a very interesting character. But we see how much she comes to love her tributes, and she wears gold so that she can be with them.
Well, thought on Effie, it's funny too to say she starts off as a villain, when in reality, if you take out the unreliable narrator of Katniss from the get-go, because we already are told not to like her prior to her actually being introduced in the book, because they talk about her out in the woods, and they are mocking
they make
her.
Fun of her accent.
If you take a step back and look at it, yes, she's doing her job.
She's doing her job.
She is doing her job, and in her mind, she is not doing something wrong, which, you know, there's other connotations and things there, but overall, she does not think she's actually doing something wrong, and she does try to take care of the kids on that train ride. She does let them talk to her family. She is not rushing them out. She does say we have to keep a schedule and things of that nature, but she wants them to have manners and wants them to have food and wants
them to present the best version of themselves to help them succeed as best they can.
Yeah, so I think if you zoom out, Effie actually is a really good person in a lot of ways, just in a very bad society.
That's also a great point of Katniss is not a reliable narrator. It's very hard to do a first-person POV where your narrator is 100% reliable because you're writing with their thoughts and their emotions, and no matter what you do, that is going to color all of your other characters. If you want a truly reliable narrator, it's third person. So that's an excellent point. We are fans of Effie Trinket.
Leave a comment if I should be her for Halloween.
I was gonna do that, but I didn't know we wanted to ruin the surprise. Leave a comment, like this video if producer Brandi should get all dolled up as Effie Trinket. I think yes.
And if you do say yes, guess which outfit I'm thinking in my mind.
Oh yeah,
because I promise
comment pictures. Which Effie do you want?
You look her up, and I'm like, you have so many different options.
So many options.
Because I liked one, and then I was like, oh, I don't know how I would do this. And I saw another one, and I was kind of like, okay, I could maybe do this. So I don't know if I'm going to do my favorite, but there are ones that are doable.
Yeah.
With the fact that I can't sew or anything, so take that into consideration.
I'm learning how to sew. Don't ask me to sew your Halloween costume. It won't work out well.
Yeah. No. I knew this was above your pay grade.
Thank you.
I got you.
I did make some shorts, though. They know I've made shorts.
Okay.
Well, I've hemmed Betsy's.
They're like, this is an all over the place podcast.
Yeah. We're sorry. This is like, is this not... Are you not entertained? Is this not what you come for?
Right.
Our
I didn't
fun
wear cool
banter?
socks this time.
That's
Shout out to
true.
whoever left that comment last time. If you were back, you made my day, and I took a screenshot of it and sent it to my friends.
You made both of our days because I freaked out. Anytime anyone likes the video or comments, like, my heart just gets so happy. And yeah, Brandi had great socks.
Well, being that it's thundering, would we like to continue on with our thoughts? And then if it starts to rain, we book it.
I think we do a couple of last minute thoughts and then I think we wrap it up. I think we've gotten a lot done. It's been kind of a rambly podcast, but
you know what's great is you totally just caught me like legitimately jumping on that, and I hope you figured out how to do slow-mo because it's gonna be funny.
I'm gonna do my best. Okay. We're going to wrap it up because it's thundering. We hope that you've enjoyed this podcast. Any last thoughts about comparing and contrasting characters?
Only last thought was we were going to talk about the people of the Capitol, and I would argue, even though in the older games, they were more upset about them or did not want to watch them, they still were complicit in them.
Yes.
And I get they were coming out of rebellion. I can't really comment on what I would be doing mentally at that point. But at the same time, all the extra leaves falling. Now it's getting spooky.
Ooh, this is not an October video. I don't know what the weather is doing, but I love it.
But nonetheless, all the Capitol people still kind of suck. That was really all that I had to say.
I will just do my last comment on this. I think the Capitol, none of our narrators are reliable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Capitol is a good meter of what can happen when you're complicit. And maybe you're not bad people, maybe you're just doing your job, but when you're complicit and you let that go unchecked and people aren't allowed to have their opinions, this is the world we come to. On that wonderful note, I hope you've enjoyed this rather chaotic outside video of novel events. And hey, check out the Instagram. We're going to try and get everything in slow-mo. Brandi, anything you want to throw out there?
Stay safe, stay warm, and check us out next time. I was going to switch my hands and then realized this one had the mic in it. Bye, guys!
Bye!